Hey y'all, Barrett Mopar here, and PSN name Barrett5. And as you can see here, I've gotten into the top 10 worldwide in this here drift trial. This drift trial is the Tokyo R246 reverse drift trial event in the newest batch of seasonal events, and I've gotten into the top 10 worldwide. I'll try to continue upping my score later on, but now that I have time to do a video to show y'all how I did it, I might as well do it. I am in the Honda Z-Act, and this seems to be a good car for this event for stability, but the leaders are in the Mini Marcos GTs, which are, I guess, harder to control. I've tried the Mini Marcos, and it works about as good as the Z-Act, but it is harder to control. I guess it's to each their own on what they actually prefer, but I'm going to show y'all how I did it in the Z-Act. And as you can see here, also, the leader used a steering wheel, and I don't have a steering wheel, so I guess I'm at a disadvantage there. Most drift trials are actually done with a controller, but this one's actually with a steering wheel, so that's a bit different. But anyway, I'll show y'all how I did this with the Honda Z-Act, and I'll start with some of my tune. As y'all can see here, I'm using sport soft tires in the front and comfort hard tires on the rear. I tried racing soft tires with the Z-Act like some of the other leaders have used, but once again, that makes it harder to control. I don't know if they have just more experience or different tune or whatever, but it worked pretty good for me, and I think I do have the possibility to up my score. But anyway, here's the suspension. It's fairly simple. The really hard springs, dampers, compressing, all that, low ride height. A lot of camber and a lot of negative toe. This pretty much works on any car, front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, whatever. And just change it around to your liking, like ride height and all that, occasionally camber and toe. But this is the general tune I've been using. It's sort of just a combination of tunes I've seen in the past. And I guess as you get more experience, you can add more camber and toe as you get more used to it and have better control. And I guess just Gran Turismo logic again, max camber and toe possible is what helps. But anyway, here's the transmission. This is a bit more complex. As y'all can see, the top speed on what it's showing the number is higher than what it actually reads. The top speed of this car, again, Gran Turismo logic being like it is around 38 miles an hour if I remember right. And to do this, first you change the final gear ratio, go all the way left, then turn the top speed all the way left, and this is after resetting everything first, just so you get the base set up. Then first to fifth gears all the way right, then final gear to, as it says here, 3.650, and you have to do it in that order or else you get weird readouts and it doesn't work. I don't really know why this works, but it does. So this is just sort of a glitch in Matrix or whatever. But anyway, this is the differential, as y'all can see. I think the Gran Turismo point system works by most angle and wheel spin, and then having the initial torque and acceleration sensitivity all the way up, that makes it spin tires more. And then for power, everything on there, no power loss with the power limiter. In the previous drift trial that I was able to get 4th in the world with, I used 75%, but that doesn't seem to help with this one. I think the previous drift trial was just 2 small sections, and the speed loss there wasn't a big factor, but in this one you have to keep momentum up, so you need more power. And then weight, just all weight reduction, no added ballast. Fairly simple there. I did an oil change, and I think I did body rigidity, but I don't really know how much that actually matters. Oil just gives it a bit extra power, and body rigidity might or might not help, again, just to your own taste. Body rigidity would add stability. If you want more stability, add it. If not, then don't. And then here's the main part, the replay. I'll cut this down into sections and make it like where I pause and explain it for y'all so y'all understand what I did. It's not like real drifting, and it's unrealistic, and some say it's cheating, but anybody can actually do this. It's not really any easier or harder. It's so different, it's sort of just hard to compare it. Until you really do it, it's hard to say if it's truly better or worse, and not really that many people have done it. That's why I'm showing y'all this now, so we can actually get some more people on the high leaderboards, and maybe, just maybe, get a few more Americans in the top bit. There was an American a while ago who could actually beat the top Japanese guy for the lead, but I don't know what happened to him. And there's still quite a few really good American drifters out there, but they're less active. And I'm okay with regular drifting, but I'm not a top 10 with normal drifting. I'm about top 500 to 50 depending on the event. But this I've learned to do, so I'll show y'all how I did it. As you can see here, the top speed is about 38 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers per hour, but just use a converter or whatever to figure that out, like on a calculator or phone or whatever. And then first, what I did is get all the way to the right, almost touching the wall, and then turn to the left here with holding the e-brake to turn. The only time you release the e-brake for any of this is to turn in the other direction. While you're turning in the direction that you want to go for the next few seconds, hold the e-brake, but only to turn the opposite direction to release it. That's the main point of doing this. If you remember anything, remember hold the e-brake to drift in the direction you want, and then to change directions, release the e-brake, and then hold it again once you're where you want to go. This will take a bit of practice, but it's not overly hard, I don't think, to get maybe a top 100 score or so with this drift trial, just how it's set up. But I put about 3 or 4 hours into it so far to get into the top 10, and I'll try to put a little bit more time in this weekend. But anyway, here we go with the main run. Try to stay kind of in the middle to start out, then get to the inside of the turn for this first section, and stay near it but not quite on the curve, and then just continue to swerve. Just try to hold it for as long as you can without touching the curb, and stay near it but not quite to it. And then as you get to near the end of the turn, slowly start to make your way to the outside a little bit more. By the time you're starting to exit the turn, try to be in the middle like this. And then for the straightaway, don't hit the wall, but stay fairly close to it, and then continue to swerve back and forth like this. Stay fairly close to the wall, but not quite on it. And then try to keep your momentum up by remembering release the e-brake to turn, because if you hold the e-brake while you're turning the other direction, it slows down speed more. But speed doesn't actually affect the score itself, but it does bog the car down, which affects the angle. And it's the angle that affects the score in part with the wheel spin. And the wheel spin is created by the tune, I'm pretty sure. So that you don't have to worry about the wheel spin. But it's the main part of this is the timing of changing directions back and forth, and the keeping on the right racing line or drifting line, whatever you want to call it. Okay, into the next turn. Sort of like turn 1, keep close to the curb, but don't quite touch it. Keep the slides going as long as you can, and then changing direction here. This is the part that will probably take most practice, because it's sort of a quick section. You pretty much have to stay near the turn or the wall on the left until that turn ends, and then try to get to the inside as quick as you can, sort of like that. Let the turn in, then turn as quick as you can to the inside, but not quite touching the rumble strips there. Also, a good thing to remember for this one with the e-brake technique is also never touch the rumble strips, just stay close to them. And if you keep that in mind while keeping the back and forth going close to the racing line, you'll get a high score. Just take some practice, but it's not impossible. Just use the tune and all that, and then get used to the car. And as you can see there, just stay close, but not on the rumble strip. And then for the final section, it sort of depends on just your rhythm of where to actually turn, but just whatever direction your car is, make sure after you finish the turn, point it near the outside wall to finish, but not quite on it again. And then just drift to the right to the finish line, pretty much. Just hold that as long as you can. It sort of just depends on your rhythm of how long to actually hold it. But this is the general way to do it. I'll put this back to the beginning here so y'all can see the whole drift in motion. And I hope y'all enjoyed this and learned from it. And hopefully we can get some more people learning how to improve their drift scores using the front wheel drive cars. If y'all have any questions, just leave them down below in the comment section and I'll try my best to answer them. I don't really know a lot about the people ahead of me, if they have any videos out or not, but it obviously does help also to watch their replays alone just to see what their line is and little differences and all that in between each of the top drivers' line, and then just sort of manipulate the car or whatever to your own liking and run whatever line you can do best. Because as long as you keep the same general form like you're seeing here, you get a lot of points. It's generally just what the leaders do is quicker flicks between back and forth, because as you're changing direction you don't get points, and longer drifts in one direction, because the less times you have to change direction the more points you get. And finally, just remember to use the tune at the beginning. That generally works. I don't know if it's the best tune out there, but I've used it in every drift trial on Gran Turismo 6 to pretty good results. And this practice makes perfect. Just keep on going and keep on drifting and keep on improving. Practice makes perfect, and hope y'all enjoyed this and learned how to do this. And I'll do another video again if y'all want me to, for some other drift trials in the future. And, well, keep on racing, keep on drifting, and keep on improving. Yeehaw.